everyone, it's Laura Pearman and this is another Laura Pearman vlog. Thanks very much to Nancy Radford this week who submitted her question. Nancy is a professional mediator. She works with people in their relationships and she also goes into the workplace to sort out any work cultures that aren't quite working so harmoniously. I know from when I've had a lot of part-time jobs in the past, I've worked in some places that didn't work so harmoniously. So Nancy, I am going to hook you up with some good links after this, girlfriend. Let's get into your question, Nancy. Do you have any particular tips for those of us who wear glasses? Do light reactive ones provide a challenge, i.e. in reflections, etc.? This is a really good question, Nancy. I know when I've worked with people in headshots and then way back when I used to do weddings and stuff like that, sometimes when you're working with people who wear glasses, they have like a moment of panic because they are glasses wearers. And I think this comes from when you're doing selfies or when you're taking pictures with friends and family, you get a lot of light reflections where the light bounces directly onto your glasses. So you've got a face with two big light bouncing things instead of your eyes. And this always used to happen a lot when we were all shooting on film, when films were like film compact cameras, and then you go to the chemist, get your pictures back, and you'd be devastated that your pictures didn't come out right. So yeah, when you're studying photography, you learn all about light refraction and light reflection. So light reflection is when the light bounces like this directly. Light refraction is when the light bounces like this in a different angle. So everyone can probably remember playing around with prisms in school. That's light refraction. So when the light's bouncing, you hold it up to the light and you can see like a cool rainbow. That's it bouncing. You with me? Cool. So yeah, if you're working with a good professional photographer, we've spent hours learning all about this. We've spent hours, or we should have, reading all about this, learning the principles of this, learning how to work with the sunlight in a natural way with reflectors outdoors, and then what you have to do when you introduce artificial light in a studio scenario, and then my favorite, when you introduce artificial light outdoors. So if you look at any high fashion magazine, go into your nearest newsagent and just take a little flick through Vogue, something like that. Chances are they would have done this because this is where you get some really cool effects with lighting. And I personally think that you are never able to fully master light because you can never totally predict what's going to happen. It's a little bit like yoga. You're never going to master it. And that's why I love it so much, personally. Anyway, let's move back towards the glasses topic. So when you're wearing your glasses, I think it's, again, like I always say, this is not your problem, this is your photographer's problem. If your photographer starts making noises that it is a problem that you wear glasses, you need to walk away from that photographer. They don't know what they're talking about. They need to become more skilled. It shouldn't be a problem. They just need to accommodate the fact that you wear glasses. You're not going to not wear your glasses. If you're a full-time glasses wearer, you're going to feel naked that you don't have your glasses on your face, and it's not going to look like you in your headshots. So you've got to wear your glasses. Yeah. Let's move on to the light reactive glasses. This sparked off a memory for me from when I was about 6 years old. Can anyone else remember the Stranger Danger video? So when I was 6, the TV at school was massive and it had to be wheeled into the room by like 2 or 3 teachers. I'm not that old, but that's how big the telly was in our school. So they had to wheel it in and we all had to sit on a carpeted section in the school. And it was like a real big occasion when the telly got brought out. And we had to watch the Northumbria Police issued Stranger Danger video. And this thing was harrowing, right? Basically, they told us that if a man, it was always going to be a man, if a man approached you and he was a stranger, he was going to be hiding the colour of his eyes so that when the police eventually caught up to you and the stranger, you weren't going to be able to tell the policeman what colour his irises were. So what he was going to do was he was going to wear these vintage like knockoff Ray-Bans and they were going to be mirrored on the covers. Does anyone remember these as well from the 80s? They were all the rage, mirror fronted sunglasses. And he would be wearing those, and he would probably ask you if you wanted to see some puppies that he had just got, and they would be in his boot, and it would all be a big lie. And you would go to the boot of the car, and you would just look into the boot of the car, and then he would kick into the boot of the car, and he would drive away, and you would never see your mum or dad ever again. Well, obviously I was terrified, so I spent the rest of probably the next 2 years walking around being terrified whenever I saw a guy with mirror fronted sunglasses on. And it was what, 1980 something, and everyone had these damn sunglasses on because they were all the rage. So yeah, that's what memory that brought back for me, Nancy. Thanks very much. Anyway, light reactive glasses are the ones where the opticians have designed this technology where when you go outside, they turn into sunglasses on your prescription, and then when you come back in, they're supposed to go fully clear again. But am I right in thinking that the technology is not that great, and sometimes they have a slight shady tint on them? So I wanted to just say that if I'm right, I might be wrong, if it doesn't go fully clear, I would want to say that maybe when people see these glasses indoors, they might be their usual online shallow selves, and they might want to know why your glasses aren't clear. And I would say maybe we could test that. Maybe we could do the same image of you with fully clear glasses, fully clear lenses in your frames, and then the slightly shady ones. Or we could look to maybe pull the shade out in Photoshop afterwards and just see how people react to them. Lots of light reactive, and then how people are reacting to these glasses. We could do that in like a Facebook advert and split test it, or we could do it with a sample audience on another social media. This is the beauty of social media right now. But I think because of what you do with your business, it's all about building up trust, and anything that's slightly hiding your eyes might cause like a subliminal reaction to people thinking, why is she hiding her eyes? What's that about? It's a little bit shady in the literal sense. So I would say maybe stay clear away from wearing those indoors. Yeah, that would be my advice there. So I hope that's answered your question. If you have any more questions about stranger danger, 1980s versions of mirror fronted Ray-Bans, or you want to talk to me about light refraction or light reflection, let's do that. You can get in touch by submitting a question through any social media channel. It's Pearman Photos on any of the platforms. Get in touch, and I'll see you next time. See you later. Mwah.